Hello everyone, it's mysticjuicer back with some more Yomi action. This continues my coverage of my matches in Summer Smash 3. This is still losers bracket action, so every match is an elimination match. This one is me versus fodazd. I've only played fodazd. I think this is the second time I've played him. I played him once in an earlier version of IYL. I believe he played mostly Vendetta at that time. In any case, I decided to go with Onimaru as my starting character, and he picks Grave. So it's kind of a cool matchup. Both of these characters have a lot of tools against each other. That is a particularly good one. Jack is an excellent spacing tool in the early game. It kind of hedges against both block and high normals. So I expect him to be pushing that a lot. The benefit to Grave is that he stays safe from guard crush attempts, and he gets to sort of slowly build up his hand while putting a little bit of chip damage on the board, which isn't particularly significant. But it basically forces a response from me. So I can't continually block because both of these characters building up simultaneously, I think, favors Grave more than it does Oni. Oni has, like, his guard crush mechanic is in many ways an early game control kind of thing, as well as being able to punish low hand in the mid game. Basically, it's like a mistake punisher, but the key thing that both of those things have in common is that it punishes awkward hands. Because with an awkward hand, you want to block, and that's exactly what Guard Crush prevents you from doing. So I quickly get two attached aces. He went for a throw there, which is pretty good because I play a very block-heavy style with basically every possible character. So I've got two attached cards there, and also I had attached an ace at that point, and it's very, very safe for me to dodge from that position because I don't have to risk my Clockwork Soldiers getting called out. Nice queen, yep. Queen was good. I think it's much easier for Onimaru to go for Guard Crush normals from this position than it is to go directly into face cards, just because blocking is so strongly encouraged from this board state. So I go for the throw to get rid of some high blocks because I no longer have Guard Crush to threaten with. Okay, we find an 8. Probably going to use that as a throw. Yeah, so block to see what his response is going to be. If he's out of high blocks, he would probably have played an attack to cover them. Okay, so he's not fooled. I was seeing if he, like, how likely he thought that I would have a Guard Crush normal, specifically a 10, because he's shown me a 10 of his own. So if he's content to block, then I'm content to block. I have kind of time on my side with the threat of Clockwork Soldiers attached. Not exactly sure what I'm looking for there. I guess it's the speed of True Power of Storms, which does undercut my queen. So True Power of Storms is always going to require a response in the form of Final Authority. There's no way I can beat it clean with any of the attacks that I have. So he powered up once. Yeah. So I decide to risk potentially eating True Power of Storms and just go in a little bit. I'm going to double pump there just to get maximum value. I've got a really big hand. I've got two Jokers, which is really nice if he goes for hit confirm attempts. but I don't know how likely that is. I suppose against Onimaru it's okay. The 5 there is actually not particularly great in this matchup because it can be countered. So if he pokes with a 2 to try to find a high normal, I play a 5. He can counter the ability and then True Power Storms through it. Okay, on knockdown, no blocks, which isn't great. So I think probably a cross-up attempt or a dodge here. Okay, yeah, goes for the cross-up attempt, so that's a pretty good indicator that he's got True Power Storms online. So I'm gonna have to be careful about that, especially since I have no blocks and I've got 1 dodge in hand. If he keeps going for hit confirms, I should be okay. I'm gonna immediately block here. Yeah. All of this is very, very indicative of a grave with True Power Storms online. See if we can get a dodge in here, get some more damage on the board. Yeah. So I'm going to dodge into the Jack, especially since he face downed, because it's 15 guaranteed. I might as well pile on. I don't lose particularly much by throwing 2 jacks into that Joker. Because a single jack isn't worth all that much to me at this point anyway. Okay, so did not have True Power Storms, actually. I'm a little surprised that he was going for all these hit confirm attempts in that case. So I risk it by playing the Queen. This might push him to think that I no longer have Final Authority, which I don't, which makes this dodge a little weaker than it ordinarily would be. But still works out fine. I'm going to end up spending the 8. Yeah, there's no reason not to follow this through. Definitely pump with the King. Okay, so he found both Jokers. He doesn't yet know that I did as well. I haven't had to spend anything yet. Find myself another dodge, which is excellent. Now, him seeing my hand with 2 Jokers in it actually means that he's very unlikely to try to hit confirm True Power of Storms anymore. It's very, very likely that he is going to want and need to play it raw. Because any hit confirm attempt is going to be stymied twice. At least twice, even if I play completely open. Find the 5 and close out game 1 pretty well. So feeling okay about that. Very much expecting the counter pick now. Yay, pack! Yeah. Yeah, so it's basically, is he going to counterpick me with Argagarg, or is he going to counterpick me with the Gray? And he switches to Argagarg. Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times in online, like that. There's like basically 2 kinds of Onis, the kinds of Onis that prefer to face Argagarg, and the ones who prefer to face the Gray. I definitely prefer to face Argagarg, because he deals way less damage, so you get a much longer game, even if he is like sinking every combat. So opening with standard de Gray strats that I used against low tier hero. Just block a lot, get a ton of cards in hand, start dodging and throwing. And I believe fodazd adjusts really, really nicely to me in this match. Oh, okay. So still playing a lot of attacks. Immediate face down, doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't care so much about giving him cards. I don't want to give up the possibility of getting 20 damage in. And I throw the jacks in there because I want to save the 8s and 10s for throws. Yeah, now he switches his range to some throws. And As Onimaru, it's basically a test of, well, is he going to keep doing that, or do I keep blocking? I would rather have blocked with the 5, actually, in that position. Because I'd much rather lose the 5 than the 7. 7 is the dominant throw in the matchup, leads into 15 damage. It's perfectly great move. I would have preferred, I think, to throw here. I would rather past me had thrown with the 7. Yeah. Because I'm not too worried about getting hit with blowfish spikes. And I've got the Joker if he wants to hit confirm blowfish spikes. Okay, so he's just going to play ace. Feels very safe there. Going to force me to come to him. And it's basically an ace or attack mix-up from him from here on out. Until I get rid of those aces. Pretty sure he's got 2 at this point. Okay. With Onimaru only having 3 ranks of dodges, I can't afford to like just play them willy-nilly. So I can't. I've got to mix them up with some blocks, just so that if we do go dodge, I'm able to keep up with that. So I've got 2 8s, 3 queens. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was a little ahead of the recording. Hoping this provokes a reaction of an attack to protect against more throws, but it just goes in with some more 7s. That would have checkmated basically my entire range. Did not have another 7 to spend, and he's got quite a bit of a life lead here. So now I'm hoping he confirms. No. Yeah, queen is big damage that I can ill afford to take at this point. It's just so terrifying to attack Argarg. But if you never do it, I guess, as fodazd is showing, he never has to respect you, and therefore can afford to play really, really aggressive. Like lots of throws, lots of attacks. So, bit of a lack of adjustment on my part in this game. Got tagged with a few too many things. Difficult to choose what to pump here. I'm probably going to pump it once. Unless he face downs, in which case I'll just let it go. No? Okay. Pump once. Alright. Yeah, I guess I get this at this point I do need to start putting on damage. I do potentially have a lethal amount of damage in my hand. What is 30... 46? Yeah, without pumps. Oh, yeah, I'm really surprised to see the ace block come out there. But I guess he felt like, okay, yeah, he's spent enough throws. I should have just kept throwing them. And this is very ugly. I've got to decide which of my precious resources I can get rid of. I decide to go for a fast attack, just in case. Yeah. I think a lot of Onimarus will immediately throw, because the really, really conservative play from Argarg is just to block. Because even if you lose as Argarg in Bubble Shield against the throw, that's one less throw you have to worry about in the neutral. Which is bad. Which is super, super bad for Onimaru, because you need every single possible throw you could get. Okay, nice, nice that I had the Joker, at least. Okay, some more throws in hand, which is excellent. But I've got to start piling on the damage here. If I can get a dodge into 10 off, that would be amazing. We're going to try to go for it. Okay, we got our shot. Rare footage of using a throw in this matchup. And unfortunately, he has the second Joker, which is going to make this an incredibly difficult match to win. So long as I keep playing basically throw dodge, I should be okay. Yeah, 7 is really good. I'm going to pump that, likely with the 5 or the queen. Probably pump with the queen before I do anything else. Yeah, I thought he had spent both of his Jokers already. Yeah, he played one very early game, so I'm actually not sure why he's bluffing there. Maybe he's lost track of how many he's played. Okay, AA. Ace is lethal, so I'm hoping that he doesn't play it because the threat of it is so large that it forces me to dodge, and am successful in that. I might as well have thrown the queen in there, though. Okay, but yeah, the rest of this game is going to be, is he going to play ace-ace or not? Nope, goes for the block, and every combat tie is basically a combat win at this point. So if I hit with both of those aces, or both of those tens, it's going to be okay, but nope. Get undercut, that is the risk you play. If I had played it face up, it would have lost to both of the obvious moves, so it might have been the time to go and do that. But nicely played by fodazd. Ended up being a fairly close match, could have been closer, but by no means a blowout. So at this point, I'll switch back to my main, go with rook, actually give it a lot of thought, because I don't like this match. It's partly I don't know how to play it as well as I probably could, but partly I think, just like Onimaru, Argagard can actually be really aggressive against rook and not suffer too many consequences. So the general strat I'm going to pursue here, and the reason you see me switch to a 4 block, is I want to power up for ace-ace as soon as possible in the early game, and that's going to open up my throw range. It's going to make my blocks a little bit safer. It's basically the only reason that Argagard would ever play ace block. Yeah. Okay, block some more. Keep blocking, get more cards. Got the jokers, which is nice. I could think about playing one of those to get Checkmate Buster online. Might be worth it. Playing the 10 throw as a potential valuation trap. Nope. Gets sniffed out, but low risk, so play the joker there. It's fine. I'm just trying to prevent myself from having even lower hit points than I ordinarily would. I don't like the 6 throw here. I would much rather that I had kept blocking in retrospect. Holding on to those 3 6s as power-up fodder is so good. And now I'm back into a position where I have to power up most of my hand to get 2 aces, which isn't great. And unfortunately now I end up with 3 9s, so if I get this thrown, back in the same position. Okay. Luckily that does not happen. It is my only block though, so can't really afford to get rid of it. Hopefully he thinks he can get aggressive with throws. No, not the case. Yeah, playing against Argagard is just really frustrating to me as rook. It feels like he should allow himself to be thrown more often than any Argagard ever allows himself to be thrown. But I guess he does have to respect rook's throws. But at the same time, throwing is basically super easy for him, because at worst he loses 10 hit points. So it's not like it's particularly threatening. Yeah, it gets another poke. Gets another ace gone. Like, I really need cards at this point. This is brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Incredibly well played by fodazd. Definitely has me figured out. Let's see. So, yeah. So he's been poking with low normals. That pretty much tells me he's got a 10, though. Okay, luckily he did not play another low normal backed by a counter, which is another thing that makes the matchup that much more difficult for rook. I've got jacks, and he's played a fair amount of queens, so I can run right into this ace block. Yeah, this is garbage. This is not what I want to do with my life. So now we've got to get out, and it's basically a 50-50 between, is he going to slow roll me? Okay, yeah, fine. Queen is incredibly safe there. It loses to basically nothing. The only thing it would really lose to is a 3-block. But with 10-card hand and basically halfway through the deck, he's definitely got counters in hand, so even that is not all that scary. He's playing really, really aggressive. I definitely should think about putting Checkmate Buster online. He is close to lethal on that. I'm rapidly running out of hit points to spend. And yeah. Cannot get aggressive against this fish. So he gets 2 more aces, and it's not looking good. I've got no 5s in hand, so I don't even have the threat of that. Gonna go for the throw because he's got so much pressure. So thankfully sink that. I should now really start thinking about powering up those 9s. Present me would immediately power up the 9s and the queen. There's no reason not to start threatening Checkmate Buster here, because it's basically the only thing that's going to get us back in the game. Checkmate Buster or hit AA twice. I don't know why that happened. The only thing I can think of is I am just out of ideas. Too frustrated to continue play. So go for the cross-up, get stopped by a double ace. Both sides of it would have won against that, but even attack or even block is so like on the nose. Yeah, now it's way too late. It's way too late to get Checkmate Buster here. Basically, I'm going to Desperation Buster, I think, or I might ace. Except he's going to diffuse both sides of that with a threat of ace-ace, which beats both sides of ace-ace clean. And I don't have the threat of 5-block because he's got counters. So it doesn't even matter. I might as well play it raw. Go for the 5-block anyway, just to see if I can get ace-ace out of his hand. Okay, get rid of another joker at least. But he basically just has to stall. This is basically a multi-turn checkmate. There's no way I can get out of this. He just has to play ace-ace, power up for ace-ace, play ace-ace for the rest of the game. Yeah. Playing the 4 there is a little cheeky. There's really no reason to. Unless he really didn't have a single counter in hand, but I don't believe that for a second. So it finishes it off in style with the 4 attack for exactsies, and then punishes to -17. And this is rare footage, or if you pause the tapes and go to slowdown, you can see the exact moment I stopped being a rook main. It's like if there was a little speech bubble that I could add in, it's basically me going, why did I pick rook? Why did I not pick Trock, which is like has such an easier time in this matchup. Yep. And then it's like, no, but this is your identity. And then I'm like, okay, but I want to win though. Yeah. Man, mains are rough. You get so much of yourself caught up in like being known as a specific character player. he is kind of a robot if you think about it. Yeah, so the reason this matchup is way better than Rook is, well, you got dodges, and dodges are amazing, and you can dodge into 45 damage, and when you dodge into 45 damage, you go down 1 card. So the threat, you actually have, as Trock, this incredible ability to play super, super, super lame. Which is what you're going to see from me throughout this particular game. Which is, hey, I've blocked twice. I have the threat of triple aces now. I have infinity reversals that stuff your 2.2 speed queen. Like, I can trade my jack for it. I can undercut it with queen. I've got good threat off of king. Basically, I'm just assembling stuff that I can power up for for Beast Unleashed here. I've already got both of the attached blocks. Okay. I have played pretty face-up jokers at the beginning of this set, so I'm a little surprised to see fodazd follow through that combo. But nicely done on his part, getting the damage in. Implying that I may have Beast Unleashed already. You can afford to be a little frivolous, I think, with dodges in this matchup. Okay, so we hit the bubble shield, but again, I don't care. I have throw that threatens anything, you doing anything other than attack, and I've got Jack, which threatens you doing anything but block, so it's fine. We've got Jokers online. Managed to pop the bubble shield immediately, which is very helpful. Don't want to be stuck in advantage time for Argagarg any longer than we absolutely have to. 2 aces already in the discard, so I can play a Jack or a Queen here with very little consequence. Playing the fast side because the slow side is actually not reliable in this matchup, so same thing as Onimaru. Troc can counter that ability and undercut. So even life, have not yet found any aces. Am punishing his attack heavy range though quite nicely, so I'm happy with that. And all of these queens and jacks, single face cards, are very, very low risk. A lot of them beat multiple sides of the attack, throw, blodge triangle. So there's very little commitment that Troc has to make. If I land 5, 6, 7, I'm not sure why I'm attacking, really. I should probably be throwing. Yeah, I mean, both sides lose, doesn't really matter all that much. And I'm going to start face downing here, maintain life lead, get more cards, draw more aces. There we go. We've got our 8s, we can start threatening that. He's got a fairly low hand, which is really good. It means it's less likely that he's got a joker, so dodging is very, very strong. Gonna go for the throw to see if he plays the ace. Okay, yeah, he threw me because he thought that the threat of blowfish spikes would force me to dodge or block. So happily got away with throwing there. And now we don't even need Beast Unleashed. We can just dodge into AA, blows things out. So we get thrown for our troubles, but it's not going to deal all that much damage. Wake up throw here with pretty little consequence. And that is going to be lethal if he doesn't have a joker. And it is. So clean that out nicely. At no point in that game, in comparison to the Rook game, where you've got to, like, every moment feels really, really tense when I play it. Basically, no difficult decisions throughout that entire match, and that's kind of the reason that I didn't play Troc. Like, I didn't really like the character, because in his advantage matchups, you just sit there and you just, like in most of his matchups actually, you just sit there, you block. You get Beast Unleashed online, you try to hit Beast Unleashed, you've got 8 dodges, which is, you know, more than enough to try to make that happen. And yeah, so, you know, basically you play his face cards if he has his face cards, and then he's got all of his 4s, 5s, 3s, and 2s are either blocks if you need them, or throws if you don't. And then you power them up and you get aces. So not a very interesting character to play. Unfortunately, a very, very strong character, and in my opinion, like if you're playing Rook, if you're playing competitively, just play Troc. Don't bother playing Rook. There's no incredible advantage that Rook gives you that Troc doesn't. So this is considered one of Troc's few disadvantaged matchups. Reason being is that Lum has a very good ability to protect himself from kings. He cares less than other characters about Trock's reversals because he likes to block so much. He has incredible ability to cycle through his deck because of that reason. And in addition to having a couple of really good reversals of his own, he's got an incredible late game where he can win with out-of-combat damage. But we do have Beast Unleashed online very, very early. Oh, and basically the ability to cycle through his deck is relevant because he gets his jokers faster. So that means that dodging into Beast Unleashed is a little less effective than it would ordinarily be against most other characters. But that's fine. So you essentially have to get Beast Unleashed multiple times, whereas in most other matches you can kind of avoid having to do that. So I am going to continue with the dodge into Beast Unleashed strategy, though. He's going to face down. I'm not going to respect it. It's fairly early, so I don't want to give him the bluff for free. Okay, so it was a real joker. Luckily, we've got plenty of blocks, so we can go right back to doing what Trock does best. And I know a couple of people say they like to block with same rank cards, so that once you hit Beast Unleashed, you get those same rank cards back. You can immediately power up for Eagle Totem, his ace attack. But in this instance, I'm actually going to try to conserve as many same suits as possible to see if I can keep as many pairs as I can to as soon as I block that second time, I can get Beast Unleashed back online. Yeah, so I'm going to block with that 7 if I'm blocking with anything at all, and then I'm going to power up the 3s and the 8s to get Beast Unleashed. And then I've got the dodge, so I can continue doing rude things to Lum. So I've been pretty face up in the strategy that I've been employing. As soon as I get 3 aces, I basically either dodge or DP. And very likely we will see that continue to happen. Yeah. Hey. It's do what you gotta do, right? Yeah, immediately Beast Unleashed. He's already used 1 Joker. Again, low likelihood that he would have the second one. Does in fact have the second one, but they're all gone. Alright, can we get the 3rd Beast Unleashed to happen? Can we be completely degenerate? Alright, I'm going to play Queen here. We've been blocking pretty steadily. The only thing I'm really worried about queening into is an ace dodge. He hasn't really put that on the table yet. I think he's expecting me to play a much more throw-heavy range than I am at all interested in playing. Quick check of the discard just to see how many multiples of the 3s that I've already played. Because I don't want to impair my ability to draw pairs and triples so that I can get Beast Unleashed back online. Kind of a difficult decision now. Which one do I block with? I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. We'll just DP again, just to check. Okay. So finally, some blocks from fodazd. The lucky thing too is because of the attack-heavy range that he's been playing, we've been really, really efficient with the dodges we've played. Like both of the dodges I played were successful. So that's really good because it means we have more time to threaten more dodges. Yeah, so we're getting good damage. He's getting closer and closer to Beast Unleashed range. Finally making aces real. Actually kind of tempted just to play the Joker there. Yeah, either Joker or Queen here I feel is really good. If he doesn't block, he's in trouble, basically. Yeah, undercuts my queen with his queen, so should have jokered instead. That would save me the trouble of powering up. It would just require me to get one more block off. Good play by him to queen. I have very little incentive to dodge, and that's going to... Oh yeah, roll the dice at 10 is really good. I mean, there's no way he doesn't have all the 10s he needs in hand, but one less opportunity to get free out of combat damage is absolutely fine with me. Okay, protect ourselves from ace-ace. So we're not going to die taking 45. And we get our second attached block. So we could start powering up. I am going to wait until I can power up, like, hold on, see if I can draw another 6, another 7, another jack to put those away. Okay, he does blackjack. Gets a good blackjack roll. Gets 21, actually. Gets all of those cards in hands. Pretty sick. Nicely done. Did spend... Yeah, I actually didn't realize. It was like, you never expect blackjack to actually work, so... Get lucky with a king, don't get blown up with aces. Put him further down. I don't have any throws to throw with. Okay, he's actually powering up. I was like, oh, he's playing the 7s? But I don't, like, there's no way I have aces. But yeah, no, that's a good play. Get aces, get more aces. I am definitely within range of, like, 2 really good blackjacks. He's already gotten 1 incredible blackjack. So if his luck holds, he could be in a good position. So I am going to dodge here, just to see if I can get 15. I want to prevent any undue damage. I'm still outside of blackjack range. Considering whether I want to power up, I do not. Still feel pretty safe about dodging here. So this is going to be unfortunate. I do have to survive a blackjack. It's kind of the risk of the matchup. If your opponent, like, gets a good turn, catches your dodges, is willing to throw into a grappler. Now that he spent the 7s, I can actually afford to pick up the aces again as well, which is fine. Because otherwise, getting 7'd for free is not great. So I have to be right. I have to be right, and I have to be not wrong. Luckily, I catch a dodge attempt. And unfortunately, I'm not finding that other ace. War Stomp, unfortunately, doesn't probably do me much good. He does have a single ace on top, but if I War Stomp, he can just discard the ace. So I am going to use this as a dodge. If I dodge, I get ace-ace for lethal. And luckily it works. And we get out of there. And close out that match. So 1 win away. Just got to win 1 more. So I'm not sure. I mean, that was a very, very close game. Fodazd basically had it. If he had found blackjack, it would have been over, all but guaranteed. And switches to grave. So I'm going to play a match I'm not very familiar with. Hopefully, with the odd range that I was playing, like the incredibly block-heavy range that I was playing last game, I'll be able to get away with a few more throws. The first turn throw is try to get rid of a jack. I have no interest in dealing with any jack nonsense. See if we can get this king going. Sink that for some good damage as well. So we're working the system. We're doing okay. We have to not get hit by True Power of Storms. That is absolutely key. That is crucial to our entire strategy. I do have 2 War Stomps in hand, so if he does go very low hand, I might be able to get some sort of checkmate scenario going. I'm going to start blocking, though. It's entirely possible he doesn't have True Power of Storms online yet, because even hit confirming into it at this point in the game, where we're still kind of early-ish, might not be to his advantage, because it would put him in a very, very low hand, and he would still have to chew through another 50-ish hit points, which isn't incredibly easy to do against a grappler if you go low hand. Okay, so he has shown me the jack. I will happily throw into a jack. Now the only risk is if he thinks that I'm trying to queen it, he might undercut. No. Pokes me at the 2, very likely that I'm going to be True Power of Storms here. Luckily, I'm able to bluff it, so we get away with it a little bit longer. And by it, I mean living. Alright, see if we can get our own super online. Okay, there we go. 2 blocks. We're in there. Unfortunately, no good power-up fodder yet, so we've got to keep playing a kind of not great game of Russian roulette. Okay, so he's continuing to play a lot of attacks, so we can poke those out and get some damage in. 3 War Stomps now. So if he ever does hit with True Power of Storms, well, at this point he's got a high enough hand that it's probably not going to be too big of an issue for him. We're going to keep blocking. Given the range that he's been playing, I think it's pretty much guaranteed that he has True Power of Storms online. I do have to worry about... I would not play that side. Why? 2 blows this up so badly. No. Yeah, if I had played the fast side of that, this would have been fine. He'd be at 51 right now, and I wouldn't be taking True Power Storms to the face. Okay, there we go. So it's still not over. He has equalized significantly, though. I need to get my super online as quickly as possible. Yeah, a Martial Mastery is unfortunate. It does show him I have very few threats in hand, basically the king and a bunch of dodges. But he can afford to play pretty block attack heavy. Just continue playing kind of early game range. Okay, so we'll get out of the way of the queen. Throw for some good damage. Nope, okay. Not... Yeah, I guess I don't want to let him get back to a bigger hand size, so I'm okay trying to slow roll him here, because I feel like from this position, I am in an advantaged state. Would have been better not to run into that second queen, but hey, what can you do? Unfortunately, from this position, I have very little incentive not to go for throws. I have very little incentive to block. Oh yeah, the 10 throw is very rude. But he can get very close to closing things out here. I should very much think about war stomping him 3 times right now. Oh, 4 times. Yeah, I should do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Ah, man, why do I hate winning? Block some more? No, throws again. And that's going to be it. Could have war stomped and then just sat there. Yeah, so nicely played by fodazd there. Evens things up. We go to the ace match. Caught on to my block all day, dodge all day strat. And now it's basically a rematch of our first game. So who do I like playing against Grave? I feel like that was not as close as the Onimaru versus Grave game we played, so I'm going to go back to Oni. Feel pretty comfortable in that matchup, and we'll see if we can close it out. A lot on the line. So, got 10 in our starting hand, let's go for it. Hey! 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 Always feels good to get that first 10 off. Yeah, might as well pump with the queen. Not a terribly important card in this matchup. Got some 8s. Can go for throws now. See if he wants to keep blocking with 9s. Nice, catch a 10. So we're getting good damage here. Yeah, can't pump. Not on a 6-card hand. Yes, he sometimes has throws. Go for blocks, get some hand. So we're playing that early game control matchup. He's feeling awkward, he's feeling pressured. See if we can get some more blocks off. Yeah, he goes back to blocking. So last time he did something like that, I pretty much immediately punished with a throw. We'll see if we can get a dodge off. No. I think at this point he has very much adjusted to the fact that I will play dodge a lot. I'm very surprised and questioning why I play the 8 attack there instead of a throw. It does win combat, but it really had no reason to. But we are working on a nice life lead though. That's alright. Start playing some fast stuff. Because we are out of throws and we are out of guard crush normals. Okay, plays the jack. Both sides of that lose to block or dodge, so I'm just going to go for that. So he was looking to catch like a guard crush attempt or something. But no reason for me to give that to him. Okay, gets a throw in. I'm going to hang on to that Joker until True Power of Storms is online. Good damage off a throw. Evens things up. 20 hit point differential. I've got a lot of face cards, but not very many. Not very many final authorities. Not many 9s. Okay, so he likely has True Power of Storms online. 53 hit points is very close to that being lethal. I've got to be, unfortunately, not a single heart face card. Oh, no, wait, that doesn't matter. Sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a crazy person. Don't listen to me. I don't even know how my non-main works. Yeah, so I've got to be careful to only lead stuff that I can final authority. Probably should, yeah, that's fine. So we get that in. We are going to be out of authorities, though. No face down is really good for us. We are a successful dodge away from winning this game. Immediately dodge, immediately get thrown. So nicely done on his part. Yeah, I will allow the full throw combo. So, unfortunately from this position, he really doesn't have to be scared of Final Authority. Yeah, ooh. Like, raw throw is so scary, especially a tempo. And I play the queen with no backing, and I don't know why. That's it. Closes it out. And really, really questionable decision there. I have 2 dodges just sitting in my hand. There's really no reason for me to risk it on such a low, like, chance play. I was hoping, like, if he tries to hit confirm it, it's fine, but... Ah, man, brutal. Brutal way to go out. Really discouraged at the end of that match, but hats off to fodazd. He clutched it out. Just an illustration of the fact that you have to, like, so much of this game is just not making obvious mistakes, and that was a really, really big risk that he played, and it happened to coincide with a really big risk on my part. So well done. Don't feel good about that at all, but props to fodazd. So I am out of Summer Smash 3. That is now us caught up on that tournament. Stay tuned for more Yomi action. I've got some 19XX matches that I will cast soon. And I will talk to you later. Until then, enjoy yourself some Yomi. Check out the links in the description below. And ciao for now.